MyMac Podcast 892. At your services.
And welcome everyone to the MyMac.com podcast. Yeah, hands up and surrender so that things don't get messed up as they sometimes do. It may seem redundant these days to report on Apple's finances when you could record it just once with an Apple made record revenue and profits this year, blah, 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 and call it a day. There's a nugget, though. While not new, continues to astound the once hardware-heavy tech giant, and that's services. This quarter, Gaz, that's where nearly 25% of all Apple revenue generated came from.
Wow.
Amazing.
25. Cool. You know, it's good to diversify.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember back when services first started to become a thing, and I don't remember, the year and the quarter and all the rest of that, but it was like everybody was astounded that, 10 to 12% of Apple's revenue had come from services. And it's not like services was always a crowning jewel in Apple's portfolio.
Yeah, can I say, though?
Yeah.
They are still increasing sales and everything else. So
Except
for service,
iPads.
except for iPads, but let's not worry about that too much because they've known about that and I think there's an understanding of that. But what I'm trying to get to is the fact that they're generally increasing in other business. It's not like their services have stayed stagnant and the rest of the business has shrunk and it's taken over more percentage. It's grown at a rate more than the rest of the business, which is, pretty impressive. So it's doing exactly what they want it to do. But as you were going to say, I think we might be talking about it later.
A little bit when we get to the second part of the show.
What's happened to you this week, Guy?
Well, I have to say, I'm a little sad. I am a little sad.
Guy sad face.
Sad face. Go for Guy.
That's not good.
I had been planning to go on another trip, another little vacation to get out of town for a bit at the end of May to go down to Florida.
Right.
But it's a little too close. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, my
Sorry.
word.
I apologize.
I hope you're going to bleep that out.
No. If it's not a cuss word,
I think you should because it'll be even funnier.
Just a little bit of oh, maybe I will if I remember to do it. But my wife is going to visit her mother in Boise, Idaho.
Boise.
She's going to leave like the middle of the month, and she's going to be there for 10 days because, I mean, just to visit her mom is reason enough. But there's more extra news. My sister-in-law's oldest son and his wife had a baby. So part of the reason for the trip is actually not to see the baby. It's so that Tracy can stay with their mother while her sister goes down to see the baby.
I'm just running that through my head. When you said my sister-in-law's son, is that not your brother's son?
No, that's my sister-in-law's son.
Okay, I won't go into the...
Congratulations, by the way, Michael and Haley.
Yes,
even though
congratulations. Michael and
don't
Haley
listen to this podcast.
On a baby.
Yeah. Congratulations for being able to do what the human race has managed to do over the course of hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah. Some people find it a little bit difficult, so I'm not going to knock it.
That's true. So she's going to get back from Idaho on the 28th, I believe. Right. So that's going to push back my plans a little bit. And it's too bad because my son Peter was actually going to go down there around that same time, the end of the month, to go to Universal Studios. And I was hoping to be down there at the same time so that I could spend the day with him and his friend, just one day of the 4 that they're going to be there. Because I think one day with Dad is more than
enough for anybody, especially when your dad is you.
Yes. So I also did not buy any serious tech this week. No microphones.
Woza,
No
woza,
nothing.
woza. You be careful. You be
Well,
careful.
David Ginsburg from In Touch
Mm,
with iOS is purposely
yes.
baiting me to get the relatively new Neat King B2 microphone. And so far, I am resisting the siren call of another great microphone. And it's not, I mean, it's not that it's insignificant in how much it costs. It's $150, which I can afford. I've certainly spent more than that for less microphone. But it's like, this one I'm using right here. This is the Lewitt LCT 440 Pure. I have used this microphone now for, I think, 4 weeks in a row.
Oh, you be careful, guy. You'll be selling the other mic soon.
No, no, they're mine. Those are
Steve?
my microphones.
Steve, do you think that Guy will be selling the rest of his mics?
No.
Oh.
And Steve would be correct. So what have you been up to, guys?
Well, I've been up to this and that.
As I interrupt you while you're drinking beer. Sorry.
Yeah, we went out with some friends for a meal last night. I'm
Nice.
obviously traveling into work, which at the moment is relatively straightforward because a lot of the schools have been on holiday because of the Easter break. So traveling in has been a lot easier. That's going to change probably next week. And also, I now know that there's a certain direction getting into work which will be completely closed because of the HS2 rail link and the load of work that's going on.
Well, listen. You knew that the HS2 rail link work was going to happen. So no excuses. And now ask me if I know anything about the HS2 rail link. Go ahead.
So Guy, what do you know about the HS2 rail link?
Not a damn thing.
Well, I knew it was gonna happen, but it's going to affect one of the roads for a month. Guy,
ooh, that's not good.
So that's going to cause a bit of a problem because it's not just the fact that I can't then use that road; it's the fact that nobody else can use that road. So they'll all be using the road that I will then be using, along with everyone else who hasn't been using that.
Can't you just put up a little sign that says Gaz's exclusive road?
I could do that, and I think it might help a little, but I'm not quite sure exactly how much it would help. Anyway,
or the legality.
Or the legality. We held our AGM earlier this week for the society, and because if you remember, I was using my MyMac and my iPad to do a lot of the notes and all that sort of stuff. And so not a great deal tech wise, if I'm honest. But pretty just a normal quiet week, I'd say. Not planning anything.
Before we go on, what you just said reminded me of something. Peter was staying at the house here for a couple of days because he and some of his friends from high school, and they haven't done this in like 10 years, got together to shoot some footage for a little film that they're making to submit to this festival. And at one point I walked into his room where he was, spending the night, and he had my old iPad with I can't even remember who made the keyboard for it. I mean, he was typing on it. And it turns out he's been using that for his classes the college classes that he's taking online. And it just it surprised me. Number one, because I'd forgotten that I'd even given it to him, which is no huge surprise. But that without talking to me and without talking to anyone else, just decided, you know what? I can use this to take these college classes. So I thought that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'd said, I think if we go back to about a year, well, probably less than that, after the iPad came out, I actually called it a replacement for the one of the MacBooks, the original MacBook, the white MacBook, And I think I was laughed down a little bit at that stage, and it has taken quite a long time to get to the position where it could be utilized as a replacement.
Easy, much easier. Yeah.
I think it is, I do find myself more utilizing my iPad than I do certainly my Mac Mini, but not quite as much as the phone. But I probably use the iPad more to do work type stuff, if you know what I mean. More administration, that sort of stuff. But I also use it for lots of just content. So for me it is almost a laptop replacement. I'll be honest, especially with the way you can, the multitasking is getting better. It's not brilliant still, but it's getting better.
It needs help. It still needs help.
Well, not as much help as you think, but it's just getting used to the different actions that you've got to use on it. But I love my iPad. I don't know where I'd be. If this broke, I'd have to get it replaced pretty damn quick, I must admit.
Yeah, I would too. And I mean, I've got the one with cellular connectivity.
No, I don't. I haven't done that. And the reason I haven't done that is because my phone is pretty much with me all the time. And if I need any device, I just link it to my phone, especially with 4G being as good as it is, certainly where we are and in the UK, and 5G coming on song. Though 5G actually, I don't think is quite as good as people make out it to be. I often find a lot of sites take longer to load under 5G than they do under 4G, but I don't know what technical process there is that's going on in the background that causes that. But if I just hot link it to my phone. I've done it to work as well with the work laptop and all the stuff that you need to download for that. I just hot link to the phone, and Bob's your uncle if you've got an uncle called Bob.
Yeah. Otherwise, you don't.
Anyway, shall we get to certain person snippets?
I think we should.
Gaz's snippets. I didn't think there was going to be that many snippets this week, but actually I've actually got a few more than I anticipated. Now I might have a few duplicates because I did find myself duplicated on a few things, but sometimes there's reasons I do that. Anyway, Apple TV has won its first BAFTA TV award for 2 documentaries.
What's a BAFTA?
Do you know, that is a very good question, but it's something about it's some TV awards over here in the UK. They're quite well known.
Yeah. It's like the Emmy. It's like the US. The Emmy is the US version of the BAFTA. There
you go. It's a BEMI. It's a BEMI that they've won. Anyway, they've won 2. They won for the first for 2 documentary. I think 9/11 Inside the President's War Room and 1971 The Year That Music Changed Everything. There you go. Well done them. Apple taps the same legal team as Starbucks for unionization fight ahead. Now, I don't know.
They lost though. Starbucks lost. Do they really want to use that same legal team?
Okay, well, they are using them. But the one thing that I heard from another podcast was that actually the team that they're using, this particular legal team, is a bit of a nasty team. They go in with knives and daggers rather than, trying to actually win it on a fair fight, as it were. I'm sure it will be a fair fight. I'm not saying that they do it, but apparently they have got some reputation, apparently. But anyway, that's what they've done. Apple's grip on iOS browser engines has been disallowed or will be disallowed under the latest draft EU rules.
What does that even mean? Does that mean that they can't have one, or it can't be the default?
It's their grip on the iOS browser engines. So I think what they're saying is that they've got to make it much easier and almost this is probably the EU decision-making process, that they've got to say, here's our browser, but would you like to use another browser? You could use any, and here's the selection. Something along those lines is something that's probably going to happen. I'm not sure about that. The American Family Association has pushed back against the pregnant man emoji. I think we had a little bit of a giggle on this initially. Well, the American Family Association is not happy with it. And do you know, Guy,
shocker.
I kind of agree with it, because all it looks like is a guy with a really pot belly. It looks like not a man who's pregnant, because we all know that men can't get pregnant, don't we?
We do.
And
basic biology. Sorry, excuse me.
And basically, it looks like a guy who's been drinking far too much. But that's probably not the reason they've pushed back, and I won't go into the reasons for it. But
Twins, yes.
Apple commissioned report says that app tracking transparency hasn't significantly benefited company. Which company? Who? I don't know. Apple is unlikely to have seen a significant financial benefit from app tracking transparency since the privacy feature launched last year, according to King. I wish I'd pre-read this thing because I can't say this name. King Shuk Giraffe. I'm going to call him Giraffe. I'm going to call him King Shuk Giraffe. Anyway, he's a professor.
He's got
of
a tongue about that long.
Will you let me finish?
Yes, I'm sorry.
He's a professor of business in the marketing division at Columbia Business School. He said, or he claims, that billions of advertising dollars move from companies like Meta to Apple due to the introduction of app tracking transparencies are speculative and they lack supportive evidence. So there you go.
That wasn't the point of app tracking transparency.
No, but no. Whoa. I'm going to defend the guy here. He's not saying that they've benefited from it, where I think there was probably lots of analysts' speculation that they have. So I'm happy with what he's saying there. I'm not going to read that because apparently it's a firmware beta, so we don't do betas. Apple has released a firmware update for AirTags. Get your new firmware. I read a story. I'm not sure whether I've actually seen this in my list. But I heard about a story where somebody wanted to track their luggage in case it got lost, and they got some important things they wanted to make sure they got back. And some of their luggage did get lost by the airline. And so they complained, and the airline company said, "Oh, don't worry, it's at this place." And he went, "Well, actually, no, it's not.
It just isn't.
I can tell you exactly where it is if you want to go and fetch it." And
it said Bob's your uncle's house.
Well, apparently one part of his luggage was also then not delivered to his house and was lost. So he wasn't very happy, and was stolen by somebody else. So he wasn't very happy going to that. Anyway, Apple are hiring fewer Genius employees at some retail locations. Apple has slowed down on filling technical support or Genius roles at some of its retail stores. Employees at some locations have been informed that Genius positions will not be filled after the departures of people who previously filled those roles.
Geniuslessness. Well, honestly, with considering that for 2 years no one was able to go into the store anyway, and that most of the devices that go into Apple stores gets sent out to a repair facility someplace.
Well, yeah, but it's not just that, is it? But I mean, Apple have apparently declined to report on this situation, so I'm sure we'll hear more in the short-term future. Well done, Cork, because Apple is opening a new engineering and test facility at Cork in Ireland. So well done them. Now, apparently, Apple's Studio Display poor webcam quality is not a software bug, apparently. A lot of people have been saying it would be improved once the software had been sorted. Well, I've heard that some people have taken the beta that I was going to mention earlier, and it's not that's a problem. It's basically a crap hardware issue. So that's not so good.
No, and it's weird because Apple is so well known for their webcams. They're
Yeah.
really not.
Okay. A leaked Facebook document shows that the company has no idea how to manage user data. And that's why I am more prepared to let Apple have my data, because they do have an idea how to manage data. And Facebook apparently do not.
Well, they know how to sell it.
Just winds me up, this does. It's our data, folks. It's ours. You've got to be careful with it.
Don't just give it away.
iPhone production,
unless you're doing something really.
It's not
really
a matter of giving it
for
away. It's just that they don't know how to treat privacy for private individuals.
But they don't care. That's the biggest part.
The problem is, Guy, in this instance, they do care. They just don't know how to care.
They're careless.
Careless, very good. iPhone production in India has grown by 50% as the iPhone 13 joins the lineup.
Good.
Apple have been tricked into releasing personal data used to sexually extort minors. This is not so good.
What?
Yes. We apparently 9to5Mac learned last month that Apple was tricked into releasing personal data to hackers after they posed as law enforcement officials with emergency data requests. A follow-up report reveals that some of this data was used to sexually extort minors. The latest report also sheds light on how the hackers were able to fool Apple and other tech giants, not just Apple, including Facebook, Google, Snap, Twitter, and Discord. It's just, it just goes to show that the previous statement I said about my personal data is a load of baloney.
Nobody seems to know how.
Nobody seems to know how to look after your data. Have you? I've saw one of my snippets that there is a massive kit that Apple will send your house so that you can fix your iPhone. You know that they announced that it's officially launched its self-service repair program, letting United States customers repair their iPhone from their homes. To do the repairs, Apple is offering a $49 rental kit that consists of all the tools needed to repair an iPhone 12 or 13. And it's a bloody great box. It's so cool. You not seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, well, you're not going to see it now either.
Because we're moving on.
And the fact that Apple have officially opened up their self-service repair store reluctantly, there's also a place on the website where you can actually download all of the manuals. Just think that you really want to go there, download the manuals and print them off, don't you, Guy? I know you.
Look, just get a 3D printer. Apple should allow you to download 3D versions of whatever tools it is that you need. And then, so basically you'll spend about 3 times as much on creating all these tools and doing all the rest of that than you would have if you'd just gotten a new iPhone.
Whatever happened to 3D printers? They were the next thing that was going to be in everybody's home, weren't they? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I mean, I know that they're used.
So
I know that people use them a lot.
And there are some people that love them and make some amazing things.
Absolutely.
And then there's people who basically buy one, make a whistle, and then put it in the closet.
And then don't. Apple is now assembling the iPhone 13 in Brazil, but not the iPhone 13 mini. So, they're spreading their wings as to where they've got their production for these devices. Yeah,
they should have less production in certain countries.
Yes, we won't say which. Mac shipments grew 8% this year as a leading PC brand saw their own numbers plummet. I think we mentioned that some time ago, so it seems to be repeated.
But that's not really news either, because that's been going on for a while.
Yeah. But I think it's the 8% growth that is quite interesting. The EU are to accuse Apple of unfairly blocking third-party access to the NFC payment technology on the iPhone. Tell you what, we're loving the EU at the moment, aren't we? They're really going for it. Yeah, so the EU has looked to force Apple to open iPhone secure NFC to third parties. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I can't see any downside to that at all.
No, I'm not going to make my statement. But, you know, I'm sure that they can do that securely. But it's... Mac Studio owners have been complaining of an irritating high-pitched noise. Some Mac Studio owners have noticed that their machines are making a high-pitched whining sound that appears to be coming from the fan. It's probably moaning that it's not in use.
I think it's probably more along the high-pitched whining sound of Mac Studio owners. That's the problem.
Well, the point I think is that it's
just
whining.
The French ones. Just the French ones.
Be careful. I think it's whining that it's not in use because all these people have bought the Mac Studio and they really don't use its full potential. So the fan never has to kick in. If that's you,
which is why we bought M1 Mac Minis, you and I, and we're like, oh, do we need a Mac Studio? No.
Apple services subscribers grow 25% to a new high of 825 million. That's why they're making lots of money. Apple reports all-time or March quarter revenue records across all categories except the iPod. Apple has reported positive results.
iPad.
Yeah. Not the iPod.
iPod.
Jeez.
Not since 2012.
Apple has reported positive results despite shortages and economic fallout. 50% of customers purchasing a Mac in quarter 2 2022 were new Mac users, Guy. All good.
Good. I'm not surprised.
Tim Cook says Apple won't rule out acquiring large companies, but its focus is on IP and talent, just not geniuses. Apple was the only...
G-men.
Not G-men, no. Not G-men. We're not talent at all. We are talent, just talentless. Yeah.
Just give us the freaking money, Apple, okay? That's all. We're not asking for much. Just like a little off the top, that's all.
Yeah. Just
throw
a
us a bone.
scraping.
Come on.
A slitherette.
Yeah.
Apple was the only top smartphone vendor to increase shipments year over year last quarter. Not a surprise. Apple gives developers more time to update outdated apps before removal. Last week, controversy erupted apparently after Apple began notifying some developers that their apps had not been updated in some time and would be removed from the App Store as part of an App Store improvements project to clean up outdated apps. Many of the affected developers objected to Apple's policy, noting that their apps continued to function just fine despite a lack of updates, highlighting the amount of work that might be needed to submit even a minor update, and pointing out that many apps can exist as finished works without a need for continual update. Apple has now shared a new developer update clarifying that its App Store improvement policies and extending the amount of time it's giving developers to update their affected apps from 30 to 90 days. I don't know if you looked at it, but Apple has teased, it may well be out by the time people are listening to this, the Star Wars theme behind the Mac film featuring Skywalker sound. May the 4th, it's called, or hashtag May the 4th behind the Mac. So go and have a look at that if you want to. The UK government wants to regulate Netflix and other streaming services. However, Guy, the headline was UK government wants to regulate Apple TV Plus, Netflix and other streaming services. I mean, because Apple TV Plus is the biggest one amongst them, isn't it? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Don't use that as scam bait. Don't use that as scam bait. I don't have a problem with the fact that it's going to be regulated because there are some things which are going on which need to be regulated. But the fact is that this was scam bait saying Apple TV Plus, Netflix and other streaming services. I think some of those other streaming services may even be bigger than Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no,
Disney Plus is bigger. So is Hulu.
But they had to put Apple TV Plus first.
Of course.
Wasters. And that, Guy, is the end of Gaz's annoying snippets. Very good.
That's for all the new manufacturing in India.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just is.
It just is. Yes.
It
Yeah.
just is.
Don't go down there with any
No.
accent, guy. Please.
No. Oh my God. No. Yeah. But why?
No.
Why? No, I'm not going to go to any accents. Why is it that I can do that with the French, but for some reason I can't do it with the Indians? I don't understand the justice pressix or whatever the word is.
Well, I think it's probably because your
French
French
accent
accent is probably funnier than
it is. Does your dog bite?
I didn't know.
That is not my
That's
dog.
my dog.
See, and it doesn't work with an Indian accent.
No.
Does your dog bite? No, it just doesn't work.
You see, that is nowhere close to being.
No, and it's not even funny.
Everybody nearly did an accent then. I nearly did an accent. Everybody, please stand by for more Hey Men. Hey Men?
Hey Man.
Way Men?
Hey Man.
To stand by, and Guy and Gaz. Oh,
for some reason,
we'll be right back. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Point 2. That's the second section. Well, the final section, the last section of this week's mighty MyMac podcast with the G-Men. That's Guy and Gaz. Yeah, we're still here. You can't get rid of us, and boy,
no matter how much you try.
No, you've got to unsubscribe, and you know that you can't do it. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. Dude.
Don't tempt them, Gaz. Don't tempt them.
No. You can't subscribe because you'll get an electric shock, and you will die. Anyway, on that happy note, Guy.
Yeah.
What the heck are you talking about? I used to get served school dinners, right? I go to a motorway services. What are we talking about? Serving this?
We're talking about Apple serving.
You. Apple serving.
Apple
me.
Serving you.
Right. What are they serving me? Apple pie?
Yeah, I wish. You know what? I could use some nice apple pie right now. However, somehow Apple has put together a package of mostly attractive services that a lot of people are buying into just based on their quarterly results. From streaming media to credit cards, Apple has their hands in a lot of the digital service that almost all have the name Apple in them, just to remind you where they come from, because you probably wouldn't have known otherwise.
Agreed.
And a lot of these, now, there are quite a few number of services, and really way too many for us to all go into in any great detail in just one show. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to take the Apple services that are part of the Apple bundle, talk about those this week, and then next week we'll talk about some of the other ones. And we'll start off with Apple TV Plus, which goes here in the United States for $4.99 a month, which honestly is a bargain compared to a lot of other streaming services. Streaming services these days speak in a comprehensive manner.
Symbolic.
Symbolic. This relative newcomer came from its humble iTunes roots of storing, collecting, and making available to purchase music, to going out and soliciting major creditors to make video content exclusive to Apple. Unlike other streaming services that rushed out and bought the rights to movie and TV catalogs to boost their available content, everything in Apple TV Plus is brand new and only available through Apple's service. This has led to sort of a slow burn for content on the services. And frankly, in my opinion, a lot of it is just not that interesting, but it is a novel approach that has a lot of people using it exclusively as a portal, not just for Apple content, but through partnerships with others content as well. Its user interface can be lacking, shall we say, sometimes, but you can usually get there in the end. This is also part of the Apple One bundle, which can save you a couple of dollars each month, available through, and this is the weird thing, Apple, who has always been, up to a certain point in time, this hardware company that had an operating system for its computers and then for its phones and iPods and all the rest of that happy stuff, now is branching out into digital services that don't necessarily need their hardware to run it on, because you can certainly use the app. You can certainly view Apple TV Plus content through an Apple TV, but if you have particular smart TVs, you can also get the Apple TV Plus application, which will let you view all of that same content. And I don't know of anyone who uses the Apple TV Plus app. Gaz, have you seen that app, or know of anyone who's been able to use it?
I haven't seen it, and I know of no one in my circle of people I'm aware of that use it either. So yeah.
Well said. Well said, Gaz. Now you've been using the Apple TV Plus through Apple TV for quite some time.
Yes.
Do you find yourself using or viewing more Apple TV Plus content versus content that's available through the app, or do you use your Apple TV hardware to view other people's or other streaming services content more often than Apple TV Plus?
Wow. So
there was a lot to unpack there. It's like, oh.
I've got an Apple TV box, which I use for a lot of our TV. So we have a lot of the terrestrial TV apps on it, and we've got a lot of the paid for apps on it as well. Prime, Disney, Netflix, all of those. Although some of those I dip in and out of in terms of buying them. Yeah. I don't use Apple as much, but although last week I mentioned that we are watching a particular show at the moment on Apple TV Plus. I'm just going to go and find it. I keep forgetting the damn name of the show. And
it's not Severance, is it?
No, it's let me go there because it's going to annoy me. Slow Horses.
Yes,
that's what it's called.
Yes. But the spy service.
Yeah, and it's really enjoying it. And when the thing is, and I've heard somebody else say this, and I think I agree with them. When you get and find something that you like on Apple TV Plus, you know it's going to be good quality, and you'll watch it. The problem is, the selection is only so big. So you could probably watch any of the programs, even the ones you're not interested in, and they will be good quality. Whether you enjoy them or not, because you're not interested in them, is a different thing. But it would be a good quality program. So it might actually spark your interest. So I'm wondering whether I should actually just watch some of the other programs. But at this point in time, I do find myself, I tend to be searching the other apps for things to watch, whereas on Apple TV, I know what I can watch and I know that we're going to enjoy it, if that makes any sense at all.
No. I get that.
No, I didn't. You do get it. Oh, it does make sense. That's
yeah. Cool. Like, for example, I haven't watched Coda yet, even though I have a lot of interest in watching.
Yeah, you should.
Everyone I've spoken to that has seen this has said it's brilliant.
It's good.
There's a lot of their other streaming programs I have tried to enjoy, and for one reason or another, they just didn't hold my interest. Morning Show didn't hold my interest, even For All Mankind, which I thought I was just going to love. I got mired in the second season of it and just haven't really gone back to it.
It's funny because I struggled a little bit with the first season, enjoyed the second season more. So it's just how it is.
Well, it's just a
It's like
question of taste.
it is, and it's like Picard. I've watched Picard, and I watched the first season, got fully hooked, and the back half of the second season, I'm thinking, oh, for heaven's sake, you should have just finished it in the first season.
Well, and that's on Paramount Plus here in the United States.
It's on Amazon Prime here in the UK.
Okay. The thing about a lot of the current Star Trek shows, and we're not going to go real deep into this.
No, we shouldn't, because we've got a lot of the stuff to get through.
I know. My wife is always like, why do you always talk about how much you don't like Star Trek Picard and you don't like Star Trek Discovery, and yet every single time there's a new episode, you are there on the couch watching them and yelling at the TV set while you watch them. Yeah. Why do you do that? And it was like, because I keep hoping it's going to get better.
Well, do you know how you could align that to, Guy? It's like watching your favorite sports team. You always hope that they're going to get better.
Yeah. And anyway, the Miami Dolphins have just disappointed me year after year after year. Though I will say Star Trek Lower Decks, love it. Orville, Seth MacFarlane's Orville.
Couldn't get into it at all, folks, so take it with a pinch of salt. Just because Guy says it's good doesn't mean it is.
No, it individual taste. Also, the next Star Trek show,
Do you want me to move on? Do you want me to move on?
Yes, we're done with that.
Apple Music, folks, from $4.99 to a family plan of $14.99 a month if you're in the US. Prices outside of the US can vary around that price. This is the literal and spiritual successor to the music portion of iTunes. A lot of what iTunes used to be is broken up into different applications, but the music part should be pretty familiar to those who have used it in the past. Like most of Apple services that bring access to content not exclusive to Apple, discoverability is the problem child. But if you already know what you're looking for, it can offer a lot. Available as a separate service or as part of the Apple One bundle. And I was using it this afternoon. I thought I'd put some mood classical music on in the background. I found a couple of playlists.
That's new. Coming up, supposed to.
Pop them on and thoroughly enjoyed it while I was in the garden, doing quite a lot of tree chopping and trimming of trees and all sorts of other stuff. Yeah.
What's better for chopping trees, Mozart or Salieri?
Elgar.
It's like swing that. Apple Music has, I used to buy back in the day. With iTunes, I used to buy a lot of music because that was how you were able to listen to it. You couldn't just say, I want to hear the Foo Fighters or I want to hear the Beatles or whoever.
Yeah, kids of today.
You had to buy the albums.
Yeah.
Well, with Apple Music and the subscription service, you don't really have to do that anymore. So you set up, and one of the things that I really like about Apple Music, and it's not exclusive to Apple Music,
no,
are the playlists where you can develop your own playlists for the kind of music that you like, and whether you make it artist specific or genre specific, you're going to hear a lot of the great music that you've either grown up with or hear some stuff that you haven't heard before. So Apple Music, and especially considering that it's part of the Apple One bundle, I think is fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
I wish it was all still kind of tied in together, because it can be a pain in the ass trying to figure out, well, what am I going to hear and how am I going to hear it, and have to start searching for the different apps.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, agreed on that.
Okay, well, the next one, Gaz, is Apple Fitness Plus, which is $9.99 a month or $79.99 a year. Now, if you already have an iPhone and or an Apple Watch, the Apple Fitness Plus service can offer you a lot of value. It can also be shared with up to 5 family members, whether you use it or not, as a standalone service or through the Apple One bundle. Way too many types of exercises to go into here. But according to Apple, there's stuff for the very beginners like me, to dedicated hardcore workouts for the more experienced. And I'm planning on starting to use this myself. It's just been a question of being able to find the time. But now that I'm actually able to work from home instead of having to go into the office every single day, I will have a little more time to do that. So I'll see if Apple Fitness Plus works for me, because I certainly have a watch and I certainly have an iPhone.
That's not part of Apple One, though, is it?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but it's not. Okay, I think we need to be a bit clear here. Let me just define this. The individual Apple One membership gives you music, TV Plus, Arcade, and iCloud Plus with 50 gigabytes. The family membership gives you music, TV Plus, Arcade, and iCloud Plus with 200 gigabytes. The Premier gives you music, TV Plus, Arcade, iCloud with 2 terabytes, News Plus, and Fitness Plus. So just be aware of that. Don't assume that because you're getting the Apple One bundle that you get all of these things. You only get it if you go for the Premier, the top of the league stuff.
Here's the thing: if you're getting the Apple One bundle, and you're going, well, I'm going to save $6 by not getting the full package.
You're not, though. It's more than $6, Guy. It's double the price.
Okay, but you get 2 terabytes of. Well, we'll talk about iCloud Plus next week.
Yeah,
I actually happen to think that the Apple One bundle, the top tier of it,
it's not just iCloud Plus, though. It's not just
I know. But I think that's an amazing value.
We've just got to be careful that we keep saying Apple One. These are part of the Apple One. Yes, if you buy the top tier. So
yeah, that's
just
true.
To be clear,
that's very true.
Just to be clear.
Okay.
Apple Arcade, which is also part of the base Apple One membership, and I'm actually just
sure.
I am because I've just read it out. You dumb. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm just downloading Pro Snooker and Pool 2022, especially as the World Championship for snooker is currently going on. Basically, there are lots of games for your Mac, iPad, or iPhone, and your Apple TV, I believe.
Also for people who do that.
There's no additional cost. Apparently, Guy struggles sometimes to find new games that he wants to play, though, part of the Apple One bundle. I agree with what you said there. I think it did come out with just, I think it was less than 100. It's certainly got much more than 100 now. But some of the games are a bit meh. But so far, I think it's been worth having the mid-tier bundle, which is the one that I get, which is given the family one. And I'm quite enjoying it. So, yeah, I quite like Apple Arcade.
What was the one that was kind of based on the guy coming from some weird adventure in Russia?
Can't remember. I didn't download that one. I didn't play
that. I'm looking for it, and I don't see it, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for it.
Okay, well, you go on to the next one.
But I really like that game.
Yeah.
Okay, next, and this is the last one we're going to talk about today. Apple News Basic is free. For News Plus, it is $9.99, and it's part of the Apple One bundle if you have the top tier. And for a lot of people, the basic Apple News service may be enough, which gives you top stories, local news, and CarPlay integration. But the News Plus service also gives you access to lots of cover-to-cover magazines. I'm laughing because pages made it toilets instead of to let. So I thought that was pretty funny. Cover-to-cover magazines and newspapers, audio stories, reading saved stories online, and family sharing for up to 6 people. So, and that's if you have the premium service for the Apple One bundle. And I am finding that I am using the News Plus service a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Oh, interesting.
When I remember back when they first started talking about this, and you and I were talking about it here on the podcast, I was like, oh, I mean, I can look up news stories online and blah, 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 blah. And then as it came out, and I kind of ignored it for a while, and then I found that when I'm looking for content for the show, I'll go to it and I'll start looking through the various parts of it. And then that led me to going, oh, what's this? And then, hit a button to see what that was. And now it's like, okay, well, let's see what's going on in Apple News. So I'm actually using it a lot more than I used to.
Cool. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, you would say that because I'm not ready. Now I am.
Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip. Even though I spoke earlier and said that I often use my iPad to do stuff when it comes to typing and writing, I do still sit at my Mac. I did it again. And when typing on my Mac, in most apps on my Mac,
I sound like a monkey at this point.
When typing in most apps on your Mac, if you press the Option key while using your arrow keys, the cursor will move to the next word rather than just moving by letter when using the arrow keys on their own. So if you're in a sentence, you've got the arrow keys, you can move your cursor along. If you use the Option key, it actually jumps to the next word. If you then want to highlight the letters or the words, if you press the Shift key, the letter, or if you're holding the Option key, the word will be highlighted. Get that, because sometimes you want to highlight the word, you want to delete the word, or you want to adjust the word, or you want to jump to the next word and back, all that sort of stuff. Well, just use the Option key, folks. And you're nodding your head, Guy.
I was.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz's tips.
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
Okay.
Wow.
See, now I have to go past all the content that we had that we're going to talk about next week. We don't have any for pick's sake this week. However, what we will have is timeout.com's list of helpful Ukrainian donation sites, links to the Ukrainian Red Cross, and links to Doctors Without Borders, which I will not do in a French accent because, frankly, they deserve better than that. Even though it is a French outfit. So,
Je suis frontière.
Yeah. Does your dog bite?
Ow! Your dog just bit me.
That is not my dog. Remember, if you've done
I had to do that for your OCD because I knew that you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would just sit there after like 5-10 minutes and be like, I'm bothered by something. I just don't know what it is.
Yes.
If you've done an iTunes review or a podcast review in whatever service that you use to listen to podcasts, let us know about it. And you will receive eventually something that is just cannot be replaced or described other than to say what it is, which is a Woo T. That's big W, big O, big O, big T, little I, little E. And if you don't know what it is, do a review and you'll find out.
Yes.
Now we do have right. It'll just right there. And then you'll sit there and say,
"You've been acting really weird lately."
Yeah, and you'll know why. You will know why. We have some audio feedback.
Good.
2 from a source that I think you're familiar with at this point.
Really?
Yeah, Greg. NC Greg has a couple of things here.
NC, I love.
And he has a message for you.
Me?
And he has a message for me.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to do the one to you first.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Gaz, did you hear about the time that somebody broke into Guy's house and stole all the lamps? He was delighted.
I'm sorry. I like that one. Now, the one to me I didn't quite get. Maybe you can explain it.
Hey, Guy, did I tell you about the time I gave Gaz an elephant for his room? He tried to thank me, but I said, don't mention it. Hey, Guy, did I
One more
tell
time.
you about the time I gave Gaz an elephant for his room? He tried to thank me, but I said, don't mention it.
Okay, see, I don't.
It could be talking about the elephant in the room.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, now I get it. But I know that because I always listen to these before I just put them in, because there has been instances in the past when we have received audio feedback from certain people that needed to be slightly edited before we could play them on this show. I won't say who it is, but you know who you are. You very, very well do. And the last one that we have is one that was actually sent to me in December.
December?
And I had acknowledged that I had gotten it and then never played it in the show. And this is from, give me just a second here. I know here it is. It's from Elisa.
You say Patelli and I say Pacelli.
And I was talking to her last night, helping her with an audio hijack issue. And she was like, I'm going to call you out. You never played my bumper. And then neither one of us could remember how she sent the bumper because we couldn't find it anywhere. And we finally did find it. She'd sent it through Facebook Messenger, which is not exactly the easiest thing to get. So this is the bumper that she sent.
Looking for stimulating conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Expert opinions on today's technology topics?
Yes.
Inspiring observations?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Then the MyMac.com podcast is not for you.
Hey.
The G-Men on the MyMac.com podcast.
Well, that's
she's
not
right.
Very nice.
Well,
she's
yeah.
right. She's right, but it's not very nice.
It's not very nice, you know. And we listened to this several times, and then
12 seconds later,
we finally had something to say about it. Now, if you would like to help,
can I just
go ahead.
I just jump in there?
Of course.
I did receive an email from Mac Jim. Thank you very much, Mac Jim.
Good job.
And he sent a link which I did send to you, and I think Carl was in the chat as well. And I don't know whether you watched it. And it was basically a Scotsman making a statement in the Scottish Parliament. I don't think we've got a clip to play, Mac Jim, but duly noted, to get his lugs are out and they really confused him. I agree with you. That's what it did.
I have no idea what you just said.
Nor as Mac Jim, because I probably butchered it completely.
Butchered the hell out of it.
But anyway,
I'm going to speak like a Scotsman.
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that
Tell me.
YouTube clip into the show notes, and it's going to be my
Your pick.
We don't call them picks, do we? For
link?
pick's sake, I'm going to put it in for my pick's sake. So
okay.
I'm just going to type a heading called Scottish Man. That's it. So so thanks very much, Mac Jim. Really appreciate it.
We do. We really, really do appreciate it. If you would like to help support the program, you can do so by going to Patreon, patreon.com/MacPettit. You can go to Coffee. I don't know why I'm still laughing. Years later, you can go to coffee, ko-fi.com / I'm still laughing. Mac Barrett. You can pay a pal at paypal.me / wait for it, Mac Parrot. Now, Gaz.
Now, everybody, can I just say, everybody, that is a real parrot. I recorded a real parrot to do
it.
That,
is.
So.
It is.
Oh.
If
I had to squeeze him really. I had to squeeze him really hard to make the sound. But
come on, you better do it. If people wanted to get a hold of you and say, "Why are you so mean to parrots?" how would they do so?
They could send an email to Gaz, that's Gaz, at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gazmaz, GAZMAZ. You can also contact both Guy and myself on the Twitters, twitter.com/Guy and Gaz, GUYANDGAZZ.
Cars.
You can also contact the show by sending an email to feedback@mymac.com. That's FWDBACK mymac.com. I try and say that really quickly so guys' interruptions don't really work. And it's got really dark here. I don't know if you'd noticed, guys.
No, I have noticed. It was kind of like, okay, let's see. Gaz has entered the zone of darkness. Well, this is later. This is later than when we usually record, and you are 5 hours ahead of us.
Yes,
so it is now almost 9 o'clock. It's like 20 to 9 where you are.
So on that note, if people wanted to contact Guy's the one, because
Guy's the one.
And he's the guy. but
pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain.
No, and
Guy says
because yes,
Guy was paid his 75.
He was,
no.
which is not very good.
His name was Guy.
It is. And
Guy.
Yes, I know. Stop saying Guy, will you?
You remember Guy?
Yes, I do remember Guy. Right. Okay. So if you want
An email from Guy.
without any,
no fooling.
how would they do it, Guy? How would they do it?
One of these weeks, you're just going to skip right past that, and my head will explode.
Yes.
If you'd like to send me an email, you can very easily do so through the, I don't know why it's still there, new podcast at vertshark.com or guy at mymac.com. You can also reach me on the Twitters. I am available either as Mac Pettit or vertshark over there on the Twitters. SAG. There's also, if you want to see all the odds and all the vids, you can go on over to vertshark.com. That has got all of that stuff. And go to YouTube if you want to do is see the vids and look up the VertShark channel, which is my channel. So that's how you would see that there. And we have a Skype telephone number, Gaz. Greg knows that number. That person that sometimes sends us naughty stuff knows that number. And that number, Gaz, is 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436-9501. That number again is 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436-9501. And if a 1 or a +1 makes you break out in hives, you're not going to like the numbers that come after it because there's a 0 and a 1 in it anyway, and that would be going through the Skype application. He said stutteringly, 703-436-9501. And I would like to say, before we end the show, because that's the best time to say it, thank you. Thanks to everyone who downloads and listens. You people better listen to the MyMac.com podcast. We really, really do appreciate it. And Gaz, I think that this week specifically, that we're good enough, and that this week, maybe not next week, maybe not last week, but this week, we are smart enough, and that doggone it, woof, walk, wilf, people wandering, he wanders and he woofs, and he's wilf, and people like us.
Affronta hai problemi audio per aiuta l'altri e un tempo passato Jimmy Place, in particular quando he influto a misdu stehu.
Yeah. Are you actually trying to be specific in a language that you don't speak?
Yes.
It's like, oh, I don't want to mess it up this time.
No, I wonder why. I don't want to mess that up. I won't go there. Guy?
Yes.
How do you make 7 even?
I don't know.
Take away the S.
I can count.
can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home. So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home.